Everybody, welcome to my channel. So I am Tammy here on Tammy Talks. We talk TV, right? So tonight, what are we talking? Bachelorette. So this is season 18, episode 1. If you are brand new to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss another video. Also, so you can check out some of the other shows that I do recaps on, like The Circle, Married at First Sight, I'll be doing Insecure and a host of other TV shows. So, let's go. Let's get started, y'all. So, this season, The Bachelorette is Michelle Young. So we know that she is a teacher and she was on last season of The Bachelor because we all know how that works. So, Tajia, I feel like I've heard her name be pronounced differently a bunch of times. But Tajia and Caitlin, before the guys even get there and meet her, they're going through all the guys' rooms and like kind of going through looking at their stuff. Their reasoning is you can tell a lot about a person based on like, they said like smells and scents and different things they have in their room. So they're looking through like the guys' closets, seeing what clothes they brought. They're looking in their bathrooms, checking out like, you know, their face regimens and like kind of toothpaste and stuff they use. It's all in good fun until they get to Ryan. So they get to Ryan's room and Ryan has a folder that has a sticker or has Bachelorette spelled incorrectly. Has Bachelorette with a rose, a very scary looking rose on the front. So inside they find tons of paperwork, like loose leaf sheets of paper. Some of them are notes on Michelle, like her favorites, her interests, different things like that. Other pages, however, are notes on how to behave on camera to get the most camera time. So some of it is kind of like what you should do, key phrases that are said repeatedly on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. It was just basically stuff on how I can use this opportunity, not necessarily to find love, but how I can use this to like really promote myself, which we all know when people go on these reality shows, whether it's The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Married at First Sight, 90 Day Fiance, any of these like dating shows and some of these other competition shows, we know that majority of it is because, I won't even say majority. I won't say majority. I'll say 50%. 50% of these people are coming onto these shows because they want to be popular, they want to be famous. Because if you notice, a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, I'm an actor or I'm a comedian, I'm an entertainer. It's like all of a sudden you have these aspirations that were not necessarily always there. So Tajia and Caitlin noticed that and they were like, red flag, you know, like, this is not the best, guys. So they don't tell her initially. But they kind of keep it in the mental. So we switch over and we see Michelle getting out of her limo. Her dress was gorgeous. It was super, 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 super pretty. Just the way the jewels were like reflecting, like the light was reflecting off of the jewels. Like she looked really, really pretty. So the first group of guys arrive and we have Nate, who is... Woo! Nate is fine, y'all. So we have Nate. I'll ignore his earrings. I'm not a fan of guys that do the two-tone earrings and stuff like that. I'll ignore his earrings. But Nate is a fine-ass man. So we have Nate come out. He said, better Nate than never. And he said, my type of corny. Okay. All right. So then we had Romeo, who said he was looking for his Juliet. Romeo was extremely handsome as well. Jack came. I did not think Jack was that attractive. He also said his name was Jack Russell, like the dog. Because that's a great thing to compare yourself to on the first impression. Good job, Jack. So then we have Clayton, who is extremely, extremely handsome. Clayton brought her a yardstick, because, you know, teachers have, like, the teacher yardstick rulers. So Clayton brought her a yardstick and said that in case he's bad and she needs to spank him as a teacher, and then he turned around and tooted his butt up and told her to hit him as hard as he could, as hard as she could. And I said, oh, on the first date. Okay. All right. So then we had Jamie, who is very, very charismatic, and you can tell that they had like an instant attraction. Caught her eye immediately. Like she even made a point to say, Jamie, gotta remember that. So you can tell that he like not won her over right away, but like she was just like, yeah, keeping in the mental. I'm gonna have to have a talk with Jamie. Um, Olu came. Olu is extremely handsome. Malik came. That hair. I'm not a fan of the blonde top that is still going on right now in hairstyles for men. I'm not a fan of it. So we have Chris, who arrived on a school bus and wore like the little suit that had the matching shorts to it instead of pants. I was like, okay. I personally do not like when men have the dress pants shorts. I don't know. It reminds me of like a little Catholic schoolboy. You know, like the little outfits that they wear. I wasn't there for it. Brandon comes and he gives her some Mardi Gras beads and then tells her she needs to earn them by showing her. And she was like, oh, no, you can have them back, sir. And then he was like, no, your heart. It fell flat, and LT comes with a pair of tuxedo underwear. And it's like, y'all, I get you want to make a first impression. I get that you want to come out and like make sure that you stand out from the crowd and that she can, she has this good vivid memory of you. And it's like, okay, yes, that's the guy because he did this and that impressed me. But I don't think that was the way. So then we have Rick. Lord have mercy, y'all. Rick comes under a like room service tray. And when she lifts the metal diner tray that's typically over the plate, it's his head. And he's like, yeah, I think I made a great impression. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So then when they wheel him into the room where the rest of the guys were, they thought they was getting like some snacks or something. I said, Lord. Yeah. Ryan, no Ryan, comes in an ice cream truck. And she's like, yeah, I love ice cream. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh yeah? Ryan knew that because he did all that research on you and brought it with him. Now, having the research is not a big deal, but okay. So he asked her if she wanted a double scoop of love. I said, oh, that's cute and corny. Rodney came dressed as a red apple. She said, what is your favorite apple? Honeycrisp? And I was like, yes, girl. Honeycrisp is the best. It is the premier apple. And he said, no, I'm a Granny Smith. And I said, oh. There is one green apple in the world. It is a Granny Smith. You are wearing red. But okay. All right. Daniel came. Daniel's very cute. And he comes on a miniature fire truck, dressed in his fire truck gear. And he is pedaling his best on that little, like, 2-year-old truck. And she was like, okay, I see you. And then PJ comes in a real fire truck with the sirens and the lights. And when PJ stepped out, I said, girl. So PJ's fine ass stepped out that fire truck in a nice tailored suit. And Daniel was looking like, oh. And I feel like the producers set that up. They knew Daniel was coming on that toy. And they was like, yeah, have PJ coming out in his real fire truck. But, I mean, it was definitely funny because everybody was like, oh, guess you messed up there, bruh. So then we had Jamari, who had some tearaway sleeves on his suit. And I was like, okay. Then we have Joe. Okay. And Joe is from Minnesota as well. And she was like, don't I know you? Why you look familiar? Don't I know you? And he was like, yeah, I'm from Minnesota, whatever. He tried to brush off the fact of how she knew him, right? So she like wouldn't let it go. She was like, wait, did I slide in your DMs? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. And then we find out why she had that reaction later. So once they get inside and Michelle is kind of looking at all the guys, she pushed Jamie to the side to talk first, which I was not shocked about at all. They had a good conversation. Jamie's like, he's extremely handsome. He's very charismatic. You can tell that conversation was easy for them and it flowed very smoothly. So then she has Joe, okay? She goes and gets Joe. After a couple of other guys, she goes and gets Joe. And we come to find out that they had conversed back and forth a couple of times, and then he ghosted her. And she wants to know why. And his reasoning was because of everything that happened, the aftermath of George Floyd and, you know, the riots and all of that other stuff that happened in the city. His anxiety was high as a black man, which is completely understandable. And he said he just did not know how to deal with that. Now, I initially said bullshit. Bullshit. And she clocked it too. And she said, well, I'm a black woman. I live down in the area where George Floyd died as well. So if there's anybody that understands how you were feeling, how you were going through, you know, what you were going through during that time, it's me. Because he kept saying I wasn't ready for a relationship. She said you didn't have to be ready for a relationship, but you have to know how to communicate. And I'm the same way. I'm a very transparent person. I am huge on transparency and communication. And if somebody can't efficiently and effectively communicate, then like, what are we doing? So she's just kind of looking at him and like questioning, why are you here now? You know, is it because that she's now on TV? Do you want to date her now? Because like, why didn't you, once you got yourself together, because he said he's in therapy and, you know, he's learning different ways to cope. She's still just kind of like, okay, Joe. So then she has a meeting with, she meets with another guy, and then Rick wheels his ass in this table, and Rick's eyes would creep me out. They're like, I'm really big on eye contact, even though it doesn't show in the videos because I be looking all around my apartment. But I'm very huge on eye contact if I'm talking to you in person. And Rick's eyes are so intense, and they're pretty. They're very, like, he has gorgeous eyes, but they're so intense and they give a very creepy, stalkerish, I'm gonna kill you vibe. But he seems like a nice guy, but yikes. So, meanwhile, while everybody is meeting with Michelle, they keep showing these clips of Ryan, who is, oh my God, I can't meet her. This is messing up my strategy. This is messing up my strategy. I can't, and it's like, whoa. But then I remember he has these notes and he wants to keep track of everything in order because he has a strategy. So, while Michelle is after Michelle gets done with a couple other guys, she goes and grabs Ryan and they go outside. He takes her out to his ice cream truck. And they talk a little bit out there, and he happens to mention he's a coach. And he talks about teaching and all this stuff. And she's like, oh my God, yeah, me too. Yeah, I love that. And I'm like, what a coincidence. Everything that he is saying, she is like soaking up. And you can't blame her because she doesn't know. But it's like, I would find it a little odd that somebody will be that perfectly matched. So just everything is like going right now. So after Ryan leaves and she starts talking to another gentleman, Tasia, I want to call her Tasha because that's how it looks like it's spelled, but Tasia and Caitlin come out and they're like, we need to speak with you. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So they tell her basically that somebody here has done like research and has these notes with them on strategy for like camera time, how to deal with you and all that type of stuff. And she was like, oh my God, is this somebody that I have talked to already? And they're like, yeah, it's Ryan. So she goes out to grab Brian, who was out to tell everybody, yeah, I had a great meeting. My meeting went dope. I'm real confident about the meeting, and everybody's just like, okay, like, we're happy that you had a really good meeting. We're excited for you, but it's also like, chill. You know what I mean? It was like you're doing a lot and it's coming across like I think one of the guys even said, it's kind of weird how like overly confident you are right now. So she goes in and she grabs him and she said, I heard that there were some notes that you have notes on how to deal with me, my likes, like you did research on me, research on how to be on camera, stuff like that. And he would say, no, no, no. So like now he's sweating and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you stuttering, sir. Stuttering. So she's like, well, why don't we go and I can look at your notes in person so I can just see them for myself and I can determine, what it is and what it ain't. And he's like, yeah, because there's nothing in there, I just, a couple things that I wrote down. And then he's like, because I didn't even write the notes, my friend's wife did the notes, but then I just made some notes on like some stuff. And she said, well, who did it? Who is it? Did you write the notes and did your friend's wife write the notes? Then it becomes, yeah, just some other mind, because I've never seen the show. He's like, I've never seen the show. I don't know much about the show. I've only seen about 2 hours of the show. I'm like, but you said that you watched her entire season. Hell, this episode tonight was 2 hours. So they go up to his hotel room so that they can get these notes. And while she is talking to him and like looking at the notes, he reaches and she said, no, no, no. Because one, don't take nothing out my hand. That is one of my biggest pet peeves in life. Do not take anything out of my hand. Quickest way to like tick me off. So she's like, why don't you just go wait outside so that I can, basically read these in peace. And she's going through and she's finding all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So he is out talking to the producers and he's like, there's nothing in there. It's just stuff on, stuff that I need to kind of remember for myself, stuff that I want to, make sure. I don't know the show. They're just basic notes. And some of the first notes that she did write were about him making like how he should remember about himself. Don't come on too strong and don't be too talkative and that type of stuff. But I'm like, this is yikes. So she ultimately decides to send him home. And she's like, because I don't trust that you're here for the right reasons. And he's like, can I change your mind? And she said, no, my decision stands as is. And then he asked again and she said, respect my decision. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. So he is escorted home. And it's like, I've seen people on Twitter say that he was a plant by the producers for attention and all that type of stuff. And it's like, no, there are some people that absolutely would be that stupid to do something like that. Absolutely would be that stupid, that idiotic to do something like that. So then she meets with Nate. And he initially is like, I don't want to talk about my family right away. And she's like, no, talk about your family. That's what I want from you. And the reason he didn't want to is because he said that, her parents were still married. She comes from a family where she's seen love and PDA and stuff like that. He's been through 2 divorces with his mom. So he said his parents divorced when he was younger. And then his mom divorced from his stepdad, who was like one of his best friends. He felt, and then like he was just gone. He's never seen PDA with his parents before. So he's just kind of, he's unsure about relationships, but he knows that when he gets in one, he wants to give it his all and he wants to have kind of like the fairy tale relationship, but he's scared. So, and she like is all for his openness, his vulnerability. So he ends up getting the first impression rose. So then they start the rose ceremony, and Jamie got the first rose, not surprising at all. And then she was debating on her last rose. Now, Joe was standing there. Joe, side note, Joe looks like Nathan from Insecure, and he acts like Nathan from Insecure. So if you watch Insecure, you will know exactly who I'm talking about. But he looks and acts like Nathan. And her biggest thing is she wants to make sure that Joe was there for the right reasons, which are wanting to truly find love. She's still questioning why he would wait to try to reconnect with her on the show, why he didn't reach out via DM. But she is going to give him another chance. She's going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's there for the right reasons. And I kind of think he is, but time will tell. So I am Tammy. This has been The Bachelorette Season 18, Episode 1. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. Leave some comments down below. Let me know if any of the men that you picked for her or that you wanted her to stay actually got roses. Thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys next week. Have a good one.